With the ticker code Northcoders listed on AIM in July 2021, it's making coding accessible to all. Well, I'm joined by the founder and chief executive, Chris Hill, and chief financial officer, Charlotte Pryor. So, Chris, Northcoders, it's all in the name. Is this a geographical reference to we can code up north?
Yes, it absolutely is. So Northcoders was founded around 6 years ago. We started life as a coding bootcamp, and we became widely known as the coding bootcamp for the North. We now do so much more on the same mission. We are closing the skills gap for businesses while creating life-changing opportunities for individuals and teaching many, many people from very different backgrounds to learn to code. Here in the North, we've expanded a fair bit further than our original base in Manchester. We now have locations in Leeds and Newcastle, and we're underway with 3 or 4 more at present.
So, Chris, you talked about a skills shortage there. So what age group are you targeting your company at then? Who's the customer?
So we have... again, when I say we now do so much more on the same mission. Initially, we were mostly focused on career changes. So it's people who had maybe sort of late 20s, early 30s that had been doing whatever they'd done, maybe what they qualified to do at university. Or like many people, gone to university or not gone to university and gone into something that think, do you know what, I just want to do something different. And we certainly proved that it was never too late, because the oldest person we've had through our bootcamp to change career and get a job as a software developer is actually just over 60. So it really is for all age groups, but was mainly the median age for us would be sort of around 30 and career changes. But now we also have an apprenticeship company, which Northcoders Tech Ed. So we're doing software development apprenticeships, which are generally targeted at a younger audience as well.
So before I bring Charlotte in, just how is your company sitting within the government's levelling up agenda?
Well, I would think that Rishi would say we're doing a pretty good job of helping with the levelling up agenda. We do have government funding from the Department for Education for people to change careers and learn to code. Actually creates some real, reduces lots of barriers, because there's ways of people becoming a software developer where they might still need to claim something like universal credit. So that's something that I can certainly say the government have been investing heavily into levelling up. But yeah, we are taking people from the sort of, you know, what people might say are the jobs of yesterday, but training them ready for the jobs of tomorrow, and focused on, you know, the places that the levelling up agenda is aimed to help.
So Charlotte, I'm wondering if that's music to your ears, since you're in charge of finance, the fact that you've got some government grants. However, are these the type of grants that are loans that you have to repay?
It is music to my ears, yes. Not just the fact that obviously the government are helping us, but they are making this our course much more accessible to people from all walks of life. Someone that might not have been able to afford our course, that might not have wanted to take a student loan, can now do the course fully funded under a scholarship from the DFE. And no, we don't have to ever pay that back. We get funded based on a course price for each individual that passes through.
And I suppose it takes financial pressure off you as well, because you did come to market last July, and the money raised at IPO, the money raised was with the intention of servicing the expansion of hubs across the UK. Is that how the money's been apportioned?
Yes, definitely. So we are obviously moving into new regions. We're opening hubs in other cities. Birmingham is next on the list, and we are looking to do a hub in Grimsby, which is a new one for us. Yes, the money is going there. It's helping us really expand geographically. We had a lot of that money planned for marketing. Having these scholarship places in these new regions really helps with that marketing, and we can really create some real life situations in them regions. There's no kind of better way to market your product than with real stories. But also we took investment as well to be able to kind of fund the that accessibility for people. So we took investment to enable us to be able to offer more people a student finance option. With these scholarships now, we're not having to do that nowhere near as much. So we can repurpose the money into really focusing on that growth of the business.
So Chris, I'm a bit worried. I hope that this is not exacerbating a north-south divide, because here I am in Hertfordshire. I'd like to learn to code. Will you be coming to Hertfordshire anytime soon, or are you already here?
So we do operate an online model. So we do have learners in London. We don't currently have any department for education funding for any regions further south than Birmingham. But however, we do have multiple streams, as Charlotte was just talking about. We do have like an income sharing agreement product whereby we can almost invest in the future potential of someone who wants to learn to code, and rather than paying up front, they may not have the money, or they may just not want to take the risk. We share that risk with them, and when they go into work, we pay a proportion of their salary to Northcoders. It's a model that's quite well tried and tested over in the States, that's just begun to start being a thing in the UK. So anyone, anywhere, almost further afield in the UK as well. We have had people in all the way from Hong Kong. So I think Hertfordshire should certainly be possible. We do have our apprenticeship company, our education company, Northcoders Tech Ed, does span England, all of England. That's due to the contract that we have with the Education Skills Funding Agency. It doesn't cover Scotland and Wales. So we do have clients and learners in London through that revenue stream. And we also have our corporate solutions division, which is software engineering services, or placing teams into businesses, teams of a mix of junior people well mentored by mid-level developers, who really takes away the strain from very, very, very busy tech teams in having a pool of junior developers. So we also solve that problem for our clients as well on a commercial basis. And again, that's certainly national. But yeah, there might be a London hub at some point, but we're kind of concentrating on rolling out from where we are at the moment. We've got Sheffield, Liverpool, and Hull and Nottingham also on our roadmap, but we're just not ready to sort of think of exactly when those might be just yet.
So I'm a technophobe. So for people who hear the word coding and just want to go down a rabbit hole and hide, what is it that we actually learn to do? Is it the back end of an internet site? Talk to us about it. What would we learn? What do we need to know?
There is kind of a premise that people think, coding is really like almost scientific, and it's all about like, you've got to be super good at maths to be able to be a coder, or you've got to be like the Excel whiz of your company to be able to come to a coder. That is certainly not true. We've had to retrain someone who was a busker to learn to code, and she is now earning well above the national average salary. So it does truly show, not everyone can be a coder, but a coder can come from anywhere. We have there's plenty of free to access resources for beginning to learn to code, to see if you it's all about problem solving, see if you kind of get that buzz about it and you like challenging yourself, and you're probably thinking this could be something for you. We do make sure that everyone that joins our course do pass ultimately almost an exam, Entry Challenge we call it, to be able to get a seat on the course. That's because we want to make sure that the people that we're investing in, that are investing in themselves, are going to come out with one of those fantastic results and positive outcomes that has really built our business to the place that we are now over the years. We're also currently building our own internal content platform for absolute beginners to learn to code, and that will be released in small chunks over this year. So that's something else that the IPO investment is being utilised for, and that's super exciting for the company and our customers.
It's super exciting for me as well. Little bite-sized chunks being rolled out at a pace that suits me. So we're talking about simplicity, but of course, Charlotte, last July, IPO, at a time when we all thought, right, this is it. We had a sense of euphoria. The lockdown has been lifted. Of course, we didn't know about the new variants that were going to come at the end of the year. But in what respects has COVID proved to be a challenge in terms of cash and investor support and the challenges that you couldn't have foreseen?
Yeah, so at the beginning of the pandemic, we was a fully functioning coding bootcamp that had a presence in Manchester, a huge campus, and a presence in Leeds, and we didn't have an online offering. We was purely come into the campus and learn to code. So when the pandemic happened and when everyone was forced to work from home, that was a big shock for us, and obviously that caused us to drop revenue, and we made a loss that year. We took a step back. We didn't want to rush. We kind of said, right, okay, our business is very outcome based. People know what they're getting when they come onto our course, and also people in the industry, our hiring partners, know what they're getting from a Northcoders graduate. So we didn't want to just rush everyone straight onto an online course. We didn't want to just throw everyone on Zoom and teach people. We took a step back. We looked as a company and said, how can we really make this work online? And then as a result, we've got amazing software developers within our team. All of our tutors are software developers. So everyone put their heads together. They made this amazing online platform that we're now where we are today, and we have a fully hybrid model. So we'll never go back to that full classroom teaching. It's made the business much more expandable. We will operationally gear much easier through this online platform, the fact that we can teach more people at once. So if anything, yes, it was a shock at first. Financially, we took a hit because we wanted to make sure that we was the best that we could be. And then we went into 2021 with a much better product, and it's proof of that now, that it's really working out well for us. And in future years, we will see them good profits and revenues.
I think further to that, just to add as well, some people will say to us, okay, why are you opening these hubs, Northcoders? What's all that about? What's this this hub in the middle of Newcastle for? Just do it all online. It's so much more efficient and easy. That's all well and good, but we genuinely want to be, part of like the beating heart of communities and get involved with people and be very, very regional in our approach. So we have this completely scalable online model. However, the way a hub operates, it's not like a traditional bricks and mortar classroom that is required for the delivery of education. That is all online. The hub is there to take the best parts of what we had before, the building of communities, the one-on-ones, the in-person meetings with your careers coach. This is a super important part of your life when you're trying to reinvent yourself. So that human contact is important, but we still have the scalability that sits behind the online model. We can have someone sat in the hub in Newcastle. We could have a learner online in Hertfordshire and the tutor can be in Manchester, and they all collaborate through the platform. They can work together and solve problems, and that's all what Northcoders is all about. It's about getting stuck, solving problems and moving on, and we can deliver that in a very scalable way. The hubs really are just part of almost our branding, getting the word out there, and just being a little bit more than just always taking everything's online, because that's now super scalable. We don't all want to be in our houses and never leave them forever.
That's true. Well, scalability and agility, all credit to you for being able to reconstruct when COVID hit. But Charlotte, you talked about hiring partners there. So hiring partners, many more of those in the pipeline, and who are they?
Yeah, so we have hiring partners from all different shapes and sizes within the companies. We actually have, we placed someone within an egg farm. So obviously the egg farm wanted to maybe develop software or have someone, a software developer within that business. And then we have the big, the huge tech companies, the big consultancies, we have banks. So really businesses from all different walks of life and all different industries and sectors. And we have over 300 hiring partners. We have so many jobs on our board, and I think that kind of it's increased with the pandemic, and I think that goes back to kind of software development and these tech jobs really being jobs of tomorrow and being the things that companies need, technically enabled teams now more than ever. And the digital skills gap is still so large, and that is our mission to contribute to closing that digital skills gap. So we've constantly got jobs on our jobs board, and for any companies that kind of want a software developer, they can come to us, they can do hiring partner presentations, they can join our jobs board for no cost at all.
So scalability, agility and loyalty. Chris, I've been looking at your share price, and it's bucking the trend because the junior markets were ravaged towards the end of last year, and unfortunately it's continued into the beginning of this year as well, but your share price is doing very well indeed. So loyal shareholders, and it looks as though you've onboarded a couple more, in fact more than a couple more since your IPO last July.
Yeah, indeed, we have got some of our shareholders who came in on the IPO that were with us in terms of support all the way through last year. Some of our biggest shareholders, which was fantastic. And then obviously we've had some smaller investors come in, some individuals. We've had some people who have held on to their stock. We've also been able to see some people who have, depending on what your sites are for how long you generally trade, we've seen people be able to make healthy returns on those stocks and bring in new shareholders while doing so, which is ultimately what it's all about. So yeah, we couldn't be happier really with where we are in terms of our share price. And just there's such a huge demand for Northcoders services. You read, there was recently someone sent me an article in the Financial Times around, it was over 25% of, this was a European-based report on companies who have blockers to growth due to technical skills. Yeah, so that's a huge amount of companies and creates a huge amount of opportunities. And ultimately, what Northcoders is doing right now is just a very, very, very small slice of that, but we intend to grow into fulfill as much of that market as we possibly can. So it's great to see people see the future potential of their investment in Northcoders as we grow as a business.
So finally, Chris, what ultimately do you want to happen this year?
So Northcoders is investing in two or three main things really, which is our product roadmap. So we are looking at when we talk about the sort of the horizontal scalabilities, and we do software development, training, boot camps, apprenticeships, services. We are looking into cybersecurity. We are looking at data. We are looking at DevOps and other elements of technical skills that these companies all require. That there's a huge skills gap as well in these areas. And then we're also looking at like the vertical scalability training specifically, whereby we're looking at how do we continue that learning journey. We hear about lifelong learning. So once someone has changed their career, how do they continue to upskill with Northcoders and keep on that real trajectory that they've started? But then also, like we do with our education company, Northcoders Tech Ed, how do we begin to go the other way, reaching people who are not quite at the level to do a boot camp or to do a level 4 qualification? We're looking into ways that we can do that. Things like our online coding platform will be the very beginning of that journey, but there is also great opportunity to support many people there as well. Then of course, there's the regional hubs. So we have the roadmap for the hubs, which is going faster than we anticipated. Obviously, having the funding from the Department for Education for people in further regions has really helped us to do that quickly. Newcastle is up and running, and actually was having a conversation this morning around how many people are using that, creating a real buzz in the hub that we have open in Newcastle. And that was obviously something that wasn't supposed to happen quite as quickly, but we are accelerating that journey. And then we are also investing heavily in our corporate solutions division, where we are picking up some very good big contracts with some huge companies to give consultancy and ultimately teams as a service to those businesses, as well as continuing to complete software engineering projects for clients as well. So that's the main areas that we're focusing on.
Chris and Charlotte, I'm loving your energy. So Chris Hill, Founder Chief Executive of Northcoders, and Chief Financial Officer Charlotte Pryor, thank you very much indeed for joining us today.
Thank you.